Like there's a power. In theater, we have something called the hand of God. Or I don't know if the Latin words I can pronounce them the way it should be pronounced, but it's like Deus ex machina, as it were. It's like when you have a difficult situation in a play and you do not know how to resolve it, just bring God in. The actor was there, was looking for money, he didn't see. Suddenly, somebody just drove by. His old classmate, who is now a big man. And he opens the door and he winds down the glass and like, I am the WB that. How are you? Wow, I just been at the fire hustle to hustle for Lagos. So he said, no, enter. I may be manager for this company. I'll give you a job tomorrow. That's the hand of God. In the theater, they call it Deus ex machina, which is to say that you just introduce an extraneous factor. But you see, in our lives, we experience Deus ex machina every day. Every day. As an actor, I can tell you, when I came to Lagos and we now heard of, there was this production house called Ajo Productions. That is where, for theater, that was where they paid you some money if you got cast in their production. So I heard about this audition. They had done 2 major plays that were the talk of the town, and they were casting for the 3rd one. Now here was I from University of Benin. I didn't speak a word of Yoruba, and at that time, because in every place in Nigeria there's some kind of gathering. If it is not only Wari boys, it will be only Yoruba people that are favored, or Hausa people, or Igbo people, or something. But anyway, I had this hall. And remember what they were doing there? They would just pass the script. They say, you, read the Dewale, and then you read. And before you read, they pass it on to the next person. And so, hey, pass it on. So I kept saying, see something today. Just one chance, they will see something. So at that time, and this is very true, at that time, we had started practicing, I had heard about the rivers of living waters, and you know how, as a young Christian, when you hear some things, you want to put it into practice. So I just kept praying that they should pass the script. So when finally the script got to my hand and they said to me to read, I don't know where that voice came from. But when the voice came out, it was something else. I just knew that there was silence. Everybody kept quiet. And I kept reading. And you know how you read and you stop, you look up like. They said, no, hold it, keep reading. Deus ex machina. keep reading. So I kept reading. Cut a long story short. 5 minutes later, they will say, keep reading, read that other one and keep reading. I held that script for over 20 minutes. And what happens is that I come forward until you get to the front seat. And that was how I took my seat on the front row of actors in Nigeria. No godfather. Still can't speak Yoruba. I married a Yoruba wife to hold that side. But, that was just a joke. I love her to death. I finally got to a place where I could take some. You can be very, very weird. In school, we are taught to, even if you don't have a job yet, keep the voice, keep working on the voice. So in the morning when I'm in front of the mirror and I'm brushing my teeth, I do my voice exercises. So one day my auntie had come, and I didn't know she was, because I get home around 11 p.m. every day anyway. So at about 9 a.m. or so, I kept hearing they were banging on my door. So I was tying my toe, and I opened it like, what? And I saw my auntie and my sister and her husband. So I said, what's going on? They said, no, sister said maybe you're crazy or something. So she insisted that, no, your brother is going through something there, shouting, and you are saying he's practicing. you know. So, they came and I explained that to my auntie that, no, I'm not a Chris. She said, yeah, because I said it didn't start. The challenges will always come. The question is, waiting you carry. Who be your papa? Or you want to stay connected to him? So much so that everything that you recognize who you are in your father's house. If you do not recognize who you are with what you carry, you either go big or you go home. That's what I say. Go big or go home. I do not know how to be small, even when I try. I am a very unambitious person by nature. I am a backbencher by nature. I am very shy, which is funny because I'm an actor. But other than that, I can be as timid as the next person, and I can be as shy as the next person. But what emboldens me is when I know that there is something to be done. And when every time I have an opportunity, because of the work we do, we get to be in front of people every time. And we get to wear fancy clothes. We get to do designer things like Pastor Dike said, But nothing but 100+% dependent on his God. There are passages in the Bible that I love. There is this, I love this story. I want to tell you something about when you connect to God. The thing about Moses, when he had encountered God and was coming down and his face was brilliant or radiant. Hello? What do you see? When a man leaves his comfort zone miles and miles away and decides to come to Lagos and starts to follow the path that when you look at a Tara Duro Toye, what do you see? When you encounter God, when you are constantly in his presence, those things that you say as scriptures begins to manifest in your body. All those things that you say as scriptures, in the presence of God there's fullness of joy. Do you really know what it means? I get energized for nothing because I am connected. It's a source. You have to understand that once you have that connection, once you've been able to embody that connection, and you are doing anything, when he says he will from Welfare Road in Warri, you will come to Lagos and you will become RMD. That is what it is. That is the truth. If you are just a small boy or small woman or small girl from Ikare Ekiti, you can come to Lagos and you will begin to do things, just selling juices, and you will become something else. That is how it works. Because you have to understand that all the promises are real. You can touch them, you can feel them, you can hold them, you can embrace them, you can do anything that you want to do with them. They are real. I am a living testimony of that. Like I said before, I am not ambitious, but every time I have had to do anything, he lines them up for me. I have this short, 2-3 minutes prayers that I do that scares the living daylight out of my wife. I'm not one of those. I don't know how to do long night vigils, long 1-hour prayers. I'm not very good at all those things. But I have my moments. I do these short prayers. Even sometimes, some of my closest friends will tell you, I do the short prayers, like maybe I want to do something, I need something, and I'm trying to do it, and I remember like, oh, Father, sorry. I beg, give me the thing I want. It's funny now, but it works for me. You see, people look at me and say, like 4 years ago, I woke up one morning, I was 120 kilos overweight. And I knew that both my parents never got to 60. Okay, so from an early stage on, when I was 40, I knew that I needed to be careful so that I can live a healthier life. And so I woke up one morning, I was in Asaba. I had become like a couch potato. You know how you can just, yes, it happens to the best of us. I had just been disconnected. I was dealing with a lot of things, trying to question what I was doing there and how it was different from what I really, really wanted to do. And so God began to deal with me, and I started to change my lifestyle, live a healthier life. And that was how, I'm sure some of you heard the rumors that I was ill and all that. Even though I kept saying that I'm in the best shape of my life. Who are you talking to? We will say what we want to say. You have AIDS. you are sick. You have a terminal disease or something. Anyway, cut the long story short, I was able to watch my diet and everything. And then people say to me, now the same people who has the secret, it is anointing. It is the anointing on me. And I say, I envision, the power of, as he's hovering over the face of the formless void and everything, as let there be light, there will be light. My own is that let there be a thumb of butter on my head. There's this huge, huge thumb of butter on top of my head to melt. Very gradually. Very gradually. And just cascades down my body. And that is what renews me. That is what I imagine. I don't know what works for you, but whatever it is that works for you, you can imagine that. And if it works for you, fine. But this is what works for me. I'm 63 or 62. So that, people who are in the world can see that you can have God on your side and still look trendy. I like what is happening. You see some people look at us and see the radiance in us, so that there is no argument as to whether or not you encounter God. I don't have to stand in like Moses face to face with God. You probably wouldn't be in today's world. Those of us who are able to have God's presence in our lives constantly, that is how we ignite our creative genius. And I'll tell you why that is so. Pastor Sam, please forgive me. How many books have you written now, sir? You can't count, right? Okay. Now, bear with me. How does a man who maybe you've written 20 books, if you put the volume, if you stack them together, how can you imagine that they will be in somebody's brain? I'm going to know if you stack them, it will be I don't know how many techie people are here, but I'm told that the first or whatever, as much as possible. But here's the thing. God is the source of all knowledge. And if you want to contain the things that you need to navigate this world, this wicked world, you will not be able to have them residing in just your body alone. It has to, like what is happening to the computer chip now, knowledge has to be compressed. It has to be compressed so much so that it can contain anywhere you put it so that it doesn't conflagrate. Because what is happening is that when you encounter God, that spirit of remembrance that you need, or that helper that you need, when the helper is with you, then when you have to do anything, it just gives you. Because if it resides in you as a physical thing, you can't hold it. You will go mad. Hello? When Moses was coming down, how do you, after encountering the creator of the heavens and the earth, somebody said, a child asked a question that, how big is God? I don't know if it was Pastor Adeboye that they said, asked the question. He said, but his answer was oh, I don't know how big he is, but I know that when he's tired, he rests his foot on the earth. So with God and knowledge, it has to be something that is spiritual. If it is not spiritual, you can't hold it. You can't contain it. You can't deal with it. Don't forget that the thesis that I laid down was that what we are probably dealing with today is the fact that we are in a country, or we are people are suffering